Hello there and welcome to the second episode of the Real Talk Rundown. We're actually missing our favourite bearded friend that shows up in the facial hair department every week.
No, now...
Where you at, Morgan Robinson?
Now you're the second official best bearded guy in the
Really?
group.
You think second?
Well, now... Since Morgan's not here, you're second best. But we do miss the guy too. We miss Mark Hamill beard.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a fun show, I think.
Yeah, real fun show.
Yeah.
We were planning last week, or whenever, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, we were planning on doing reviews for Black Panther, Shape of Water, and Lady Bird. We got around seeing 2 of those. We've still not got around seeing Lady Bird.
No, Lady Bird I reckon we'll watch by the end. By the end of this episode, I'll probably think about watching it later on this week.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, we saw Black Panther together. We saw Shape of Water together.
Yeah.
And I can start with Black Panther.
Yeah, let's start off with Black Panther.
Such a good movie, and we thought it was going to be good. We chatted about it on the last Real Talk Rundown episode. You guys can check that out. But we chatted about what we think is going to happen. We talked about Ryan Coogler's directing style, how it would...
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you guys, for me personally, this is one of the best MCU movies.
Where would you rank it? I don't... Since the guy who hates rankings isn't here now, we can rank movies. Yeah.
But, I mean, it's hard... Okay, so
I think top 3 for me. Top 3.
I'd say top 5 MCU movies. Top...
Yeah, MCU would top.
Yeah, MCU. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can't really give it an official ranking until I give it some time because it's still fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
But for now, I would gladly put it above most of the other movies. Maybe the only movies that would top it out in my mind are movies such as the original Iron Man, Captain America, Civil War, and Winter Soldier.
Guardians maybe?
Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think it is better than the Avengers. I think it's got better character development.
Yeah.
I think it's a better overall film. And I'm telling you, this doesn't even feel like a superhero movie.
No.
Sometimes.
This is what Marvel does so well. It makes every single origin story of the franchise that they're developing seem like a completely separate universe.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think these are in the same cinematic universe until one of the characters pops up in an Easter egg or a post-credit scene or something.
No, I agree. I mean, it feels like a lived-in world apart from being in this place filled with, Iron Man, Captain America. Wakanda in Black Panther feels like an actual lived-in place, which is an issue that we have with, like, what's the place? Asgard in Thor.
Just feels like an afterthought.
Yeah. Well, Thor 2, it felt like an afterthought. Thor 1, it felt good, but we didn't spend that much time in Asgard. And I thought they really cleaned it up with Thor 3. And I think this is what worked so well for me in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy 1. The location, the set design.
Yeah.
It all felt so thought out. And there's this video on Variety or maybe Hollywood Reporter's YouTube channel where Ryan Coogler's actually dissecting this one fight scene. And the amount of detail is crazy. Incredible.
Yeah, I've seen that.
This movie isn't just made for money, I don't think.
No.
I think it's great as a political statement, if you will. I didn't really view it as a political movie, but it has political messages and themes.
Exactly. It's
definitely.
One of the actors in the film, you're going to have to forgive me for forgetting his name, but the guy who I said was a total badass to you the other day.
Are we talking about not Michael B. Jordan? You're talking about...
No, not Michael B. Jordan.
No, I was going to say, how can you forget Michael B. Jordan?
I love that guy.
You can't forget him.
No, the big dude who had the first fight.
I think Mabaka or something. I know who you're talking about. It's the guy that's the head of the gorilla tribe.
So he basically said the appeal of this film to him was that African Americans felt like there's only room for one of us in a certain film. And he wanted to show we're all individuals, we're not all the same, we don't want to be cast based on the colour of our skin, because that's how he felt. And these are all individual characters with amazing stories to tell, and all these actors really perform. We had Daniel Kaluuya on there.
Daniel Kaluuya, the guy's name, by the way, is M'Baku.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so we were close. Yeah. So, I mean, no, you're right. I mean, so let's go through the performances. Chadwick Boseman is...
You know he's 4 years old?
I didn't. I know he's 4 years old. But if you were to tell me that before I saw it, like all the interviews and everything, I'd be like, you're crazy. And
he's been sipping some fountain of youth.
Yeah, seriously. But he's a great lead. And I think we saw in Civil War how good of a... not only just a superhero, but as a overall lead, a dramatic actor, We saw the hints in Civil War. In Black Panther, I think it really comes to fruit. Then, of course, before we get into my favorite guy, I want to also talk about the supporting cast. So we got Andy Serkis, who plays
real good.
Ulysses Klaue, very good villain.
One of the first times he actually plays like a real human being as well, to an extent.
The guy can act great behind visual effects, but without them, he's still a great, funny guy as well. Yeah. Very surprising how much I found myself laughing. Martin Freeman.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah, if you were to hear his normal voice and you saw movies, like he has the American voice,
doesn't he?
and it's good. It's not bad whatsoever.
It's a bit odd listening to it.
Lupita Nyong'o, brilliant.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya was good in the movie, but he didn't exactly. His character
was a bit of a coward.
A bit of a coward. Once you see the movie, I think you know what I mean. I wasn't overall a fan of it.
But the thing was, before we get into Killmonger as a villain who was outstanding, I think he represented the audience in a sense. Daniel Kaluuya's character, in that we were
a bit apprehensive.
I was apprehensive, and I was definitely gravitating to someone. Killmonger made some great points as to why he should be the Black Panther and the leader of Wakanda, because he'd been part of an oppressed society his whole life, and
I mean, he was raised in Oakland, California, which, by the way, the reason why Oakland, California is the base location is because actually Ryan Coogler's from there as well, so he felt like it was a very good habitat for this guy to grow up in, because he felt it was quite close to him.
He grew up with so much pain. I don't want to get into... Are we all say spoilers? Spoilers?
We'll talk about spoilers in a second.
Right, we'll do a spoiler alert thing where you guys can tune out for a bit, and then anyone who's seen it, they can listen in.
I think by this point, if you guys watch this, you would have seen it. It's only I know it's only been out for a week, but I think the majority of people
hardcore Marvel fans, you'd make the time to go see it, wouldn't you?
You would, but I think
when did we see it? Like 2 days after we saw it the day.
No, we saw it the day. Yeah, we saw it on Tuesday.
We're fans right here.
So I mean, we're going to Michael B. Jordan.
Oof.
And I genuinely think this is the best villain in the Marvel, no doubt.
Do you think, because people have talked about him being the best villain, but do you think this is the best performance by any actor in the MCU? That's a big question.
That's a big question, and I'm going to say no, only because I really do feel like
who tops him?
Marvel has hit their stride with their heroes. Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr. for me is probably the best actor in the MCU because he encapsulates everything that Tony Stark needs to be. But that does not take away anything that Michael B. Jordan does in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's a great villain. He's also a great character, and I think he's a good 21st century black male actor for this role. And I think it's really
he's got a really great character actor, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And I think he has this great chemistry with a director where I think they're able to really get into the inner psyche of this villain and just the character overall. And I'm not saying that Michael B. Jordan's character is like full of all this depth and riches that Daniel Day-Lewis had, but he is a really in-depth villain that I think they didn't take lightly. He was definitely very involved in the story. Sometimes with the villains in the MCU, they're a bit of an afterthought, I think. The only exceptions in my mind are Loki, Ego, and I mean,
the villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they feel like, definitely in, like I said, the first film of a potential franchise builder, they feel like they're just trying to build up the superhero. You always know the superhero's going to win. They're not presenting any real emotional or physical challenge to the hero. But here, the hero and the villain are so synonymous with each other. They work together and mesh together so perfectly because you know that everyone can see Killmonger's point of view, but he is an incredibly violent and unhinged individual.
Oh yes,
and
without doubt.
He can't be present in society because he's gonna cause some pain. He's gonna unleash all the pain that he's experienced on everybody else.
And then he's gonna use Wakanda's power and kind of like verbalize his own pain into the world. And I think what was really well done about this movie is that for most of it, you were kind of debating who was right, T'Challa or Killmonger, Eric Killmonger, and I think they did a really good job from a story point, from a character point, trying to translate this. How do you use power? What's the right way? What are the right motives? And sometimes, T'Challa seems a bit like he's on the wrong side.
Yeah.
And
he's quite a lost character as well.
He is a lost character, and this is one of the negatives I have about the movie is only that I feel like T'Challa was a bit of a weaker hero in this movie compared to Civil War, where he was a complete and total badass throughout the movie. And I felt like this movie, for some reason, he struggled whenever the story needed him to struggle. And this is just my own personal take on it. It felt like he lost the ability to beat a few people only when the story was at the end of the second act. So this is where the character's at its lowest point. And so, he was beating like 10 people at once easily at the beginning of the movie. And then towards the middle and the end, he was like finding it hard to beat just one.
But do you not think that Killmonger is going to be the toughest villain?
Oh, no. I'm not talking about Killmonger. I'm talking about other guys. I'm talking about other people he goes up against. It felt like they were juggling up.
But it is his coming of age story, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. I'm just saying, compared to what it was in Civil War, I felt like some things were taken, there were some liberties taken.
Yeah, I understand that.
But, I wouldn't say there's too many negatives I have going to it. It felt really well paced.
Yeah, it was. Never dragged.
Never really dragged for me.
They set up Killmonger perfectly as a villain because it was mainly who did Andy Serkis.
He played Claw. Ulysses Claw.
Okay.
You see him actually in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah, so he was basically the main guy leading up to it. Killmonger was in the background, but you could see that Killmonger was plotting something really quite heavy in the background, and then when he does essentially pull the trigger on his character, there's no looking back for
no at all. And I think they did a really good job with not shoehorning in any moments with the villain too early to make it to draw attention away from T'Challa. That's why Michael B. Jordan works so well in this movie. I think is because Coogler gives him the time and place to be a fledged out character, and it works out really well. From a character standpoint, when he's able to have his moments, you start to see his side, which makes him a better character and villain overall. And the movie never really feels like it's hammering home this message of a downbeaten American black man in America. And honestly, I thought Ryan Coogler knew the characters before he had to film them.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I just really praise Black Panther for most everything it does. The only negatives I really have, I feel like some of the special effects were...
Yeah, towards the final fight scene, it was a little bit difficult to pay attention to, but it didn't ruin the film.
None of the negatives, overall, honestly, if I was going to rate this movie, it'd be like a A or like a 9 out of 10. Yeah. But just know that it's honestly such a
superhero
great
movie. You're going to get some special effects. And sometimes it's going to look a bit too CGI.
Yeah, and there's moments where they're in Wakanda, and you kind of, for me personally, I kind of was like, oh, okay, special effects should have been worked on a bit more.
We are talking about special effects here. How amazing did the plane look? When they transferred to the afterlife, in a sense. That's what.
The plane. Okay. Sorry, I thought you meant the Wakanda planes. No. I was about to say those look pretty cool. But no, there's the color palette in this movie. I was going to say something pretty stupid.
Yeah. You know Jaden Smith?
Yeah.
You watch his music videos.
Yeah, the purple and that. I get
like they captured the sky of that.
What they decided to do was take this magenta purple vibe, and that's kind of the motif in the movie. That purple. Black, green, a lot of these African tribal colors.
Yeah, think about the most beautiful African sunset you could possibly see.
Yeah, and it's
intensified.
Yeah, and that again, this has to do with the actual look of the movie. It looks stunning, and I think sometimes the problem with these Marvel movies is that they look bland sometimes. That was a big complaint with the airplane scene in Civil War, is that people thought it looked too grey.
Yeah. The colour scheme in this movie. I'm thinking about the soundtrack music.
Oh, that's another thing. We won't delve too much into it, but if you haven't heard the soundtrack,
we're not going to do an album review, but that album is
produced
crazy.
by Kendrick Lamar. I think that's the best album I've heard.
Right,
There we go. We got that going. It is honestly, it fits the movie so well, but it's also a great.
It works as an individual album perfectly, and it's not an album that plays it safe. That reflects the film we're in. Obviously,
No,
we're in
it goes in hard.
It goes in hard. It's very explicit. It stays true to what TDE stands for.
Yeah, what Kendrick Lamar, Travis Scott, all these other guys stand for.
They rap in the minds of the characters.
No, yeah,
in the film.
They do reference Killmonger and T'Challa in the movie. It's incredible. I loved it.
They mesh together so well as well.
No, yeah,
some of the songs do take place in the film. I don't think they're the right song choices. What do you think?
I was okay. So this is a bit of a spoiler, but there's a car chase scene in the movie, and they use Ops. I think Ops. I believe is the name of the track that they use. And I think what maybe they were going for was just a really fast-paced song, and they couldn't use another one because they would have to like blank out a lot of words.
You wouldn't be able to hear any lyrics.
Yeah. For a majority of the chorus in Paramedics, but that would have been a better song choice. I was okay with it. There was a weird use of "Pray for Me" from The Weeknd, and the song's amazing.
Yeah, they walked in the club, and that was on. Was it played at the end as well? Or was
No, that was All the Stars. Now, I think it would have been better if they swapped the two around at the end. But I get why they use All the Stars. That's the main song. I didn't mind it. It was a nice song to finish. Oh yeah. It's a good song,
but it wasn't a happy ending though. Really, was it? In the sense that he did feel T'Challa did feel bad for Killmonger, but Killmonger.
I think it just made him grow as a king. Like if we're gonna that's spoiler.
Yeah, we're gonna.
But okay, so this is a big spoiler now.
Yeah,
we would put the spoiler on a little bit earlier, but Killmonger dying the way he did and what he stood for towards the end, I think that's just gonna make T'Challa grow as a human, and as a Wakandan. Getting really nerdy here. But he's gonna grow as a character for Infinity War. He's going to learn the mistakes that he had in Black Panther are going to transform him into someone who's a better leader for the Avengers, for Wakanda, and probably for the world in general.
I think he's going to take into consideration some of the worldviews, the less extreme worldviews that Killmonger had, and implement them to a different extent, because he did speak a lot of sense. But it was just an extremist view.
It was a very extremist, but I think you can also sympathize with it a little bit. And not saying that it's okay to kill people because you feel racially attacked, but I'm saying that
there was a human element there which anyone could relate to.
And that's what I love about my villains. I want some human characteristics. I don't always love the whole pure bad villain, which is what you get in.
Where they're just bad because they're psychotic and they're born that way. Like, no one's born. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to get into the mental state of the human race right now, because that's as diverse as you want to get.
You can see a lot of other YouTube videos about that. But Black Panther, for me,
badass movie.
Great movie. Honestly, I can't wait to see what Ryan Coogler does next with Black Panther and in the future.
Ryan Coogler's got a movie scheduled, because he's not actually directing Creed 2. He's got a film coming out with Michael B. Jordan again, 4th movie together.
Wrong Answer is what it's called, and it's about a math teacher in Atlanta, and he's scandalized when he looks to get funding for a school by altering his students' test scores. And it is starring Michael B. Jordan. It's written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Oh, I haven't heard the name before. I thought I did. But anyways,
no, I've not heard that.
I'm excited for anything these two guys do, because Michael B. Jordan's going to bring his A game. Ryan Coogler's going to bring his A game. I haven't seen a bad Ryan Coogler.
It's like the African-American equivalent of De Niro and Scorsese partnership.
I can see that. It's a bit more held back, I think, than Scorsese and DiCaprio. But overall, Black Panther, outstanding
Definitely
film.
worth going watching. Not even if you're not the biggest superhero fan.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
There's enough there for you to enjoy it as a standalone film.
And a cool fact for you all to know at home, it is actually now. In America, it had the 5th highest opening in America, which is crazy big movie news. It made over $200 million on its opening weekend in the States, making 202. And that's just being beaten out by the Avengers, Jurassic World, The Last Jedi, and of course the behemoth that is The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And this is unheard of for an origin film like this.
What's worldwide?
Worldwide,
still...
What's it made? Okay, so we are filming this right now on the 23rd of February, and it has made to this day $505 million worldwide.
Wow.
And I want to bring this up real quick. Let's have a look at a movie which should have made so much money, and that is Justice League. Now, Justice League is not in cinemas anymore. It has made, on its final run, $657 million worldwide, which
Black Panther broke that in a week.
Black Panther's going to break that within 4 days.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got to look at Marvel, and you got to look at DC executives and all these people who are overlooking this universe and say, look, we are doing something very, very wrong. If Batman, The Flash, Aquaman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and stupid Cyborg
did you hate that movie?
I didn't hate it. It was fine.
It was okay.
It was okay. It was muddled. It's okay. It's good, I guess.
There's just no human element to those stories. They're just fun films.
I feel like there's not enough sense going into them.
I was a big fan of Batman vs Superman, though. I think you were as well.
Yeah, I like Batman vs Superman quite a lot.
Yeah.
I thought Wonder Woman was okay. I know I'm in the vast minority for that. Suicide Squad's terrible.
Yeah.
But this is just me. Like, for the box office, you gotta look at what's reflecting in the MCU and what's reflected in the Justice League is that Justice League and the DCU is failing right now in drawing in that audience. When Black Panther, who about 10 years ago, nobody would have thought that we were going to get a Black Panther movie like this. Nobody would have thought it would have made this money.
Yeah.
And here it is, about to break the Justice League with Batman and Superman.
A relatively new superhero to audiences.
Yeah.
That's just the power of Marvel right there, isn't it?
It really is. I think it's quality. I think it's people's interest. I think it's also
the
great
filmmakers
marketing.
are attached as well.
Yeah, the filmmakers.
Real great up-and-coming filmmakers who are passionate about the work that they are going to bring to the big screen.
I think there's also a bit more attention to detail. I think that's something that's lacking in the DC.
They're allowed to bring... There's a lot more freedom, I think, in the Marvel movies. The directors are allowed to bring in inspirations from past works.
Yeah.
Transfer that.
I agree.
So, yeah.
So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up from a box office standpoint. That is outstanding. Now, overall, I think you would give a positive review as well. Obviously, overall, clearly.
Obviously.
No, you hated it. But the next movie that we're going to talk about, we did just mention is Shape of Water, which I saw this before you saw it. I've seen it quite a while ago.
You were a big fan of it the first time.
I saw it first time, loved it, and I still do really like it. The second time around, where you and I saw it together, it wasn't as good as I remembered it. Now, this is a movie, and I'll read off the synopsis. At a top-secret research facility in the 1960s, a lonely janitor, which is played by, I can't believe her, I'm forgetting her name, Sally Hawkins, forms a unique relationship with an amphibious creature that is being held in captivity. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro, and it's been in this guy's mind for years. He said this has been a long passion project for him. It's a very good romantic movie that makes you believe in love.
Yeah.
It's a great fantasy. And I told you, I think I said this in the last Real Talk Rundown, it's completely different than anything you'd expect it to be.
Yeah, really different to any film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the metaphorical way of filmmaking that Del Toro has is just crazy. Did you pick up on the use of teal throughout the film? The colour teal?
It's used quite a lot, isn't it? Especially
do you know why that is used in the movie?
No, fill me in, buddy.
Because I recognise it so much. You know, the car, the hue it had on the corridors. Like,
you know what? They do mention teal quite a lot. The guy says, "Oh, it's not blue.
Yeah.
It's teal." Like
even the sweets that Michael Shannon's eating, they're teal coloured, right?
Okay.
And obviously the creature's teal.
In like the poster,
everything's teal.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, when Michael Shannon buys his car, the guy goes to him. He goes, "It's green." He goes, "No, it's teal. It's the colour of the future." The teal represents the future. The creature represents this beautiful creature from the past and the fear that the human race from the future have from it. So basically, it affects.
That's a cool
metaphor. It represents change.
Yeah. That's really cool, and I think
that was something that I was picking up, and I was like, I have to go research this and find out what that means.
No, I think that kind of backs up what I was going to say, which was that I feel like it's a great movie for people in general just to see and witness.
Yeah.
It's also a really good movie for a filmmaker, for someone to analyze how to make movies, or who wants to get into the business. It's really, really intriguing. Now, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to win the Oscars. I love it. I still, like I said, I really do like it. Upon second viewing, I hold back a little bit. The long drawn out scenes that I found a little bit boring and I felt out of touch with, felt a lot more boring the second time around. Which, you know what? That's okay. Every movie isn't perfect. They have its long scenes, but I'm not going to use that excuse that every movie has its flaws as a pass for this movie. But the message, the overall story is
what was the message
original.
that you got? Because I think it's quite
I felt like it was a love is love.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good story for people. If you can imagine Michael Shannon being this extremist right character, extremist right thematic element of the extreme right, and the amphibian creature would be, say, a woman for Sally Hawkins' character or whatever. I think a really important thing for this movie to point out is that these characters who are in love, the amphibian creature and Sally Hawkins, this relationship shouldn't be natural.
No.
It isn't perceived as natural. But yet, when we go watch this movie,
you believe it.
But we're okay with seeing these two. And then you have these extreme right people who are just belligerent and terrible people who, they won't like two men being in a love relationship.
Yeah, I think this definitely has a social message. I think it goes back to, in that time, in the 40s, there was a lot of like interracial dating and stuff. So I think that's one of the metaphors for the film.
And you do see a lot of these racial abuse scenes and these a lot of anti-feminist. And it's a very good thematic movie. Like I said, the story is really well done. I want to get into the acting real quick if I can, which is that Sally Hawkins, I don't know if it's in the trailer or not, so I'm not going to give a certain detail about her character away, but Sally Hawkins gives an emotional performance in this movie that you wouldn't expect to find captivating.
But you really do. You can't take her eyes off her.
You care about everything she does because she's a Liverpool character who has her flaws, and she does make mistakes in this movie.
Yeah.
But she does that out of pure innocence, if you will, which was a very.
You mentioned the word innocence, but it was weird because there was a lot of paralleling visuals to go with that.
Yeah. And I think
if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you guys will see, if you've seen the movie, you know what we're talking about. But you've also got Michael Shannon, who plays an amazing villain in every movie he's in.
No
if anyone doubts that he's a good actor, this will probably be the number one movie.
Has he been nominated for Best Supporting Actor? Because he got
hasn't.
snubbed again last year, didn't he? He got
when he was in Nocturnal Animals, which, if you guys haven't seen Nocturnal Animals yet, it's amazing.
He got nominated for that, but Aaron Taylor-Johnson didn't. But he still didn't win, so...
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure he got nominated and Aaron Taylor-Johnson didn't.
Maybe I'm just confused. But anyways, Michael Shannon in this movie is outstanding. Richard Jenkins plays a great... Now...
Yeah, Richard Jenkins.
Okay, I was going to say, should we spoil a little bit? Because okay, this is going to be a bit spoiler warning. Richard Jenkins plays a gay character in this movie. And I think that kind of plays into mirroring that we somehow as a society can accept that this woman and amphibian creature can get together.
Yeah.
But then you see this guy and trying to get another guy, and it's all looked down.
He broke my heart in this movie. He
really did. He's nominated for this, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah,
That's
he's
really
nominated.
Great. He just represented such a lonely individual who was just desperate for attention.
I think he represents a lonely society, which I think is really important.
Getting to the end of his life as well, and he just needs someone to look at him in the way that the creature looks at the lady in the movie.
I think
Eliza.
He brings out the dramatic... he's quite funny in the movie as well, Richard Jenkins.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's got funny moments. That's not my favourite character. My favourite character in this movie is actually Octavia Spencer in this movie, who plays Zelda Fuller. She is great in every movie I've seen her in so far. I haven't seen her in too many things besides The Help and a few other movies. But in this particular, I think she might win Best Supporting Actress. It's up in the air. I haven't seen all the actresses in that category, but she is amazing in this movie. And again, it's a lot like Richard Jenkins, where she brings the comedy elements in. She brings that home.
It doesn't feel forced either. She represents a real human character.
I think she also represents... this movie seems like it's based in like the 1950s. Actually, I can't remember.
I'm feeling 40s vibe.
40s, yeah.
Just post World War II.
Yeah, post World War II in this urban up and coming society, right? And I think she represents the this black culture that was really having a big struggle during this
Non-existent
time.
before.
Non-existent, no. And you see the way she's treated, and again, this all ties into this movie being really thematical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of messages, and it's really good. But Octavia Spencer in this movie acts her butt off. awesome performance from her.
Yeah.
Doug Jones as the amphibian creature.
Yeah, he got completely lost in that role.
Got completely lost, you know, and I think there's, like Andy Serkis we're talking about, great creature actor. We've got other great creature actors in One Planet of the Apes.
Very little CGI.
Yeah, a lot of practical effects.
Yes, which is what you want.
And I think the most important thing about that they could have done with the amphibian man is the movement felt like an actual. They hit him about being a god.
Yeah.
And he kind of has that presence.
Yeah.
And I think that's not anything you can get with every actor.
Yeah.
So well done to Doug Jones. Nothing like too outstanding because you don't really see much of the facial expressions.
It was just believable.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for.
Without a believable man behind the monster, it doesn't work at all.
And a real gothic theme as well, didn't it?
Yes,
real
extremely.
gothic.
And this really ties into it being a Guillermo del Toro movie, which if you've seen Pan's Labyrinth,
I need to go and watch that.
If you've seen Hellboy, or I mean, honestly, this man is.
How's it compared to his other work? Because I know you're a big fan.
Yeah. Now, I think I've told you before that I think this movie might make you want to go see some of his other films.
Okay.
I did say that it was my favorite of his. I think I'm going to take that back. Now I'm going to say Pan's Labyrinth is back as my favorite because I think it's not. The moments that kind of drag it down in Shape of Water, I don't really find as many moments in Pan's Labyrinth. Maybe we just need to watch it again.
What about Crimson Peak? That got mixed reviews, didn't it, when that came
Crimson
out?
Peak's okay. I think if
worth a watch.
No, it's not like a great movie. It's not a good movie. I wouldn't say it's just average.
Mm-hmm.
But I think every director does have that kind of spot, that kind of dark shading. Yeah, the best director in my opinion is Steven Spielberg. But every now and then he does put out some of the
some
movies.
duds, yeah.
But best movie, Pan's Labyrinth. Then I'll probably say Shape of Water or Hellboy, depending on how I'm feeling on the day. But this man knows how to create this gothic monster pick where these monsters and the world that these monsters live in, it feels like an actual world that can possibly happen today.
Yeah.
And it goes into this. Now, I don't know if you've ever read it, but have you ever read Frankenstein?
Yeah, really reminded me of those old gothic monster novels.
Yeah, and this honestly,
Frankenstein's.
This feels like a book that, it feels like a movie that could have been written by Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. Yeah. And I feel like he was inspired by that. I would be really interested to see if he does another movie like this.
Completely took you away to a different world. Like I
forgot
I was in the cinema for a bit, and that's all you can ask for. There's very few films out these days where you just forget about everything that's going on and you're completely engrossed in this universe.
Absorbed in the world. I think that's something that's hard to do.
It's really hard to do as a filmmaker.
It's hard to do as a filmmaker. It's hard to do with a monster where you can't even really understand it.
And in this social media age as well, people constantly on the phones in cinema. I couldn't see one phone out during everyone had their eyes glued to the screen.
I think the look of the film as well. You're talking about the teal. Excuse me. Yeah. The teal really stands out. The colors in this movie, in a weird way, it gives off an ocean vibe. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the water colors really come through, and it was deliberate. That was very deliberate. You can tell, and obviously once you see the movie, I think with just seeing the trailer, you can tell why.
Like when there was a quote. She had these little quote books.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try and remember the quote word for word, but it's like something like sort of like you'll know when you're in love because whoever you're in love with feels like they're all around you. It's all encompassing. So when she's on the bus,
you see the water.
The water is him.
Exactly, and I think it's a really
and that's what love
movie.
is. That's what I don't know what love is, but that's my imagination.
It's
of
like
what love is.
This movie makes me believe I can find my amphibian creature.
I literally said to Damien out the movie, unfortunately, the amphibian will be going off with loads of other sea slugs.
Yeah, I want my own Little Mermaid after this.
Going off with loads of mermaids, and then the woman's going to be annoyed because they have commitment issues. Welcome to 2018,
welcome to 21st century. But carrying on with Shape of Water, I mean, it is nominated for 13 Oscars.
Really?
Which is really, really, really good for a movie like this. And so, of course, it's nominated.
Cinematography as well, overlooked.
Cinematography.
I reckon Roger Deakins got that.
The opening shot of this movie, where it's just a camera moving through the water.
That wasn't filmed underwater either.
No, yeah. What they did was they CGI'd like all the air bubbles, bubbles coming out, and then they had like all the lighting look like it was in the water, but then they turned the color and everything.
So cool,
which is crazy, and honestly, the same thing with Black Panther. The amount of detail in this movie, outstanding. So I think there's no way that this movie wasn't going to be nominated for sound mixing, cinematography, and production design because of these water elements, because of how important the set and location is in every scene.
I love one of my favourite scenes in the film, again spoiler alert, is when the creature breaks out and you burst and you think, oh, all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah.
And she just finds him stood in awe of this amazing old school cinema.
Yeah.
And I think that is as significant in itself, the power of cinema, the power of film.
And I think, if you will, the monster was kind of like you and me when we were watching this movie. It's kind of like stood in awe.
It's like an out of body experience.
Yeah.
I mean, we really was. It was amazing film. Like I said, really few experiences you get with that. Like I forgot I was in the real world when I came out, and I still think about the film. Thought about that film a lot.
Really good. I might end up seeing it again. I mean, it was good enough for me to come back a second time. I don't see why I wouldn't watch for a third. The music.
Yeah, real good.
Music gave me a bit of a French traditional vibe.
Yeah.
Really good. They used some like harmonica and a few other instruments, and I could easily see it played like while you're sat underneath the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, just completely took you back to that time.
Yeah, and it felt classic. Yeah. And I think that's what this movie really needed, was that classic vibe, and it's nominated for Best Music as well.
Great.
And I think, I don't know if it's going to win things such as Best Actress in Leading Role. Maybe Frances McDormand in 3 Billboards and a few other.
Yeah, I think that might be nailed on, to be honest.
Might be nailed on. Best Director, Best Motion Picture. Who knows? I think it might win Best Picture. It depends how much like 3 Billboards gets going into, like how much of a role it goes into.
Do you think this is a great win for horror movies? I know we talk about Get Out, but this can be classed as a gothic horror, I think.
Oh yeah,
there's definitely some real horrifying moments in this
you're
film.
Completely right.
And it's an old school monster film like we talked about, like akin to Frankenstein and Dracula. So I think
you're right.
That.
I think it's a win. I won't say for horror, but I'll say for fantasy.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it feels like a fantasy movie. There's a moment in this movie where you'll know what I mean. It's a black and white scene, so look out for that. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It takes. Okay, so obviously you've got the mix of fantasy, you've got the mix of noir, you got the mix of the 1920s, the golden age of films.
Yeah.
And you sit back and you realize that this classic filmmaking still exists in a way which can coexist in the 21st century. And I think it's a win for fantasy in that regard, because people doubt that this kind of movie can still be made.
Yeah, and they doubt that there's an audience for it as well.
And I think it does have a lot of 21st century script writing in. There's a lot of there's a few sexual innuendos that are discussed. There's a few.
Yeah, do you want to get into that?
I mean, for me personally, it took me out. There's a couple of there's a bit of nudity, which it
is unnecessary.
It feels put in there because it can be put in there. It's very intimate, and I get kind of why Guillermo del Toro did it.
I get the fact that these two people are in love and eventually they're going to want to engage sexually. They are going to, but I think that they needed to leave that to the viewer's imagination.
It was like more like the shock and awe kind of thing. It didn't really feel that close to the story. And that happens a couple times. Like there's a couple of like sexual things that people say to each other. I'm just like, okay.
And then the stuff that you see, which you didn't really see it.
I mean, those sort of things I don't need in my movies for it to be good.
Yeah.
And it felt like it just took me out of the movie.
Yeah. It didn't ruin it.
It didn't ruin it.
But it was just there was a lot of unexplained scenes. Again, it'll be open to interpretation. I'm probably gonna have to look into it, but one of the issues I had with it, which was there's too many one certain scene, which was just weird.
And I think for a movie like this, it doesn't need it because it's
maybe that particular scene just representing loneliness. I don't know.
I have no clue. I mean,
have no idea.
I don't really want to dissect this scene.
I don't want to dissect it, but
but I mean, it's
I'm still thinking like,
yeah. it's just there's some scenes where you're just not gonna go tell your mom about. Let's just say that.
Yeah, don't even watch this with your mom.
Yeah.
Just don't.
But it's a great movie, so you should tell your mom to watch it. Just don't watch it.
I didn't tell my mom to watch it.
I told my dad to watch it. I just said, I'm just not gonna watch it with you.
Cool.
And then I was like, maybe you shouldn't watch it. But it's a very beautiful movie.
Yeah, it is.
With
my heart. I don't care about saying this.
Yeah, he's a heartless man. This guy.
I'm a heart. No, I'm not. I try and switch my feelings off as much as I can, but my heart actually hurt a bit after watching this. And it doesn't happen enough.
No.
And yeah, it's an real emotional
yeah.
film.
And it's gonna be a big movie going to the Oscar season for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Not far away from the Oscars.
No, we're not now. I mean, how many is it? Is it 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks. It's literally is it
first? Is it the first? That's what I was about to check actually. I think that's all we have for those movies though.
Yeah.
But
should we do
Black
a quick
Panther,
run through of the news?
Yeah, I mean,
I
mean, like I said, we got Black Panther that made a bunch of money, but also another big news story that dropped yesterday, I believe it is. Joss Whedon has left Batgirl.
Yeah.
For those of you who are interested, Joss Whedon was actually hated upon on arrival for Batgirl because a lot of feminists said that a man like him shouldn't direct this movie or filmmake it because he actually cheated on his wife. So people felt like this guy shouldn't give the voice. Honestly,
I don't think that has nothing to do with
yeah,
the film.
I think people like that are stupid. I think we all make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think he's a talented filmmaker who I also think would do a good job.
Yeah. Again, we try and not take into consideration people's personal lives. It doesn't affect
of course
them
not.
as an artist.
No. So him leaving that, I mean, it could be because of that. It could be because of other things. I think it is because of that.
Okay.
And I think that...
I think he needs to take a break from superhero movies, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to make the film. He's given his all to the genre.
And I think it's a good step for him. Maybe he can get out of the DC universe.
Maybe people just need to take a step back and try and rebuild this DC cinematic universe. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. I feel like just because Ben Affleck now he's pretty much confirmed he's not going to play Batman again. Back to square one with that character. No one's overly committed.
It's a mess. I don't see how you can go anywhere but a reboot. That's just me. I'm not saying all hope is lost, but I'm also saying all hope is lost.
Fair enough though, because we did think the same thing. Like Spider-Man got rebooted a bunch of times, and then eventually we've got to...
Spider-Man: Homecoming's an outstanding movie, and I'm not saying you don't always have to go wrong.
Yeah, just give it a few years. Don't reboot it like 2 years after.
Yeah.
Let's give it a few years to settle and get it out of the public's mind.
And I think going back to Joss Whedon, I mean, maybe Batgirl isn't the next best. I mean, you've also got Nightwing, which lost its director in Adam McKay or Chris McKay. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but
they don't have the power.
Adam McKay.
They don't have the power either to create a great film for these lesser characters.
No.
Because, like we said before, the main character movies, the ensemble films aren't selling.
No.
They're not doing good.
If Justice League isn't doing well,
why do you focus on Batgirl? Focus on the core characters before you focus on those guys. That's how Marvel's done it.
And I'll say this, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of it, Wonder Woman did fantastically.
Yeah.
With the audience, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan. I think it's overrated.
I enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna watch it again.
No. So I think they gotta take a step. They gotta take a footnote out of that kind of it. Aquaman, I hope is really good.
Yeah.
I say Aquaman.
I think that's got the biggest potential, to be fair, out of it.
It does.
James Wan.
Supposedly, the first crowd reactions have come in now from that movie, and they're mostly positive.
But all of them have been. All of the DC
that's true.
have been really positive.
That's really
Even
true.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. I'm sorry, I've got a headache now. Okay, but with Aquaman, I've got this to say. If Aquaman fails, I think it is time to reboot.
Yeah, all hope is lost.
I think it's time to step away from everything. Come up with a new plan. Hey, crap happens, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work out this time. As a business move, but also I think as a filmmaking move, you gotta readjust. You gotta change what you're doing. And I think the answer is to use Flashpoint. I don't know.
It's a waste of money as well.
Oh, I mean, it's a waste of money. And it's not that these movies won't make money. It's that these movies won't make the money that it should.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You got Justice League, which I believe it made money in the end, but I believe it cost over $450 million to make.
Yeah, it wouldn't have done great in terms of revenue.
No, not at all. And I think, okay, we look at it and are like, oh yeah, that's a 600 and whatever it was. Not that's.
Just think about
honestly.
the cost, though.
I'm gonna have a look at how much it actually costs to make. But a movie like, I said this already, but a movie like Justice League should not be making less than $700 million.
No, of course not.
It actually kind of
the $billion.
it makes me kind of upset because I'm a big superhero fan.
Yeah.
And I want the DC universe to succeed. I want it to do well. But there's not much you can do when it seems like the producers and even the director aren't making these decisions.
A lot of them go through development hell as well.
Oh, they do, especially
this one.
Justice League.
Yeah,
Justice League, honestly.
Justice League, like a 10 years thing going on. I'm not talking about like this incarnation. I'm talking about like the.
Yeah,
film.
overall, I mean, you got Justice League, was also supposed to be directed by George Miller. That went through development hell. This movie really
This was
did
really
go
rushed.
through.
I feel like this film was made just to meet.
This movie should have been postponed to like a March or February time because also and we're going backwards now talking about Justice League, but if we're going to talk about what it didn't do right, it felt rushed because of the CGI not looking right. Yeah. And of course, Zack Snyder had to leave because of family issues.
Yeah.
And then he had a great filmmaker such as Joss Whedon come in. I think what happened is he came in, said this isn't good, and I think they already planned out reshoots. So I'm not even saying Joss Whedon's to blame for this movie. I think when he stepped in, there was already Zack Snyder had the idea of, okay, we need to refilm this. This isn't how I wanted it to turn out to be. And by the time the film came out, Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder said, this is the definitive Justice League, and this is what we always intended. And it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was average. So I think with Batgirl and Nightwing losing the directors, I think maybe that's a sign to give it a break if Aquaman doesn't work out. If Aquaman does work out, I say get Wonder Woman 2 out. Get Flash in there. Get Batman coming out soon with Matt Reeves. Get all these movies that actually matter to the DC universe.
We're going to have to recast Batman, though. That's the thing. That's a tough
That's a topic for another time. I can't do that. But we are running out of time now. It's almost at 50 minutes.
Quickly, do we want to discuss Jurassic World 3? Well, Jurassic World 3 has been announced right before Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
I'll have more to talk about once I see more from Jurassic World 2.
Yeah, exactly. Just a weird thing to do to
announce
a film.
Especially this early. It's going to make money no matter what.
Yeah, optimistic thinking, but it'll probably do decent.
Yeah,
it'll do decent at the box office. It'll probably do mediocre critically. But yeah, that's our thoughts on it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
We're going to try and... Should we try and get one out next week?
Well, we're going to get one out next week.
Yeah, we're going to get one, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys follow me at Damien Pickett _.
Yeah.
And then, you follow me
Jamal
on Twitter.
Niaz. Yeah, and we'll have Morgan back with us as well next week, so it'll be a full-fledged show. Probably worse though, won't it, with him?
No, it'll be better because we got that beard coming, so the atmosphere will be better.
Alright,
yeah,
sweet.
Brilliant.
You guys have a great weekend. See you in a bit.